Hey guys, what's up? So now that I've created our first material starting from scratch, I would like to show you how we can quickly make some adjustments to existing materials of the scene and transform them into more sophisticated Enscape material. So let's try out first with the floor. And we have already seen that we don't have a very good texture. So first of all, let's take a careful look at its existing structure. I will use my paint bucket tool to extract this material. So I will hold the Alt key and click here. And now we can see that we have this material called wood, floor dark. And here in Enscape, we can see that we have this image placed in the albedo texture. So the first step to make this material more interesting would be actually to change this image. So I will basically click here in this folder, and my suggestion is to use another texture with a better quality, and you can try to find one from the links that I've presented, but I've also provided the one that I used. So you can click here in this file called wood albedo and open it. And since we had already tweaked these reflection parameters, now we have already a much more interesting material, and we can take a look and we can see that it's very important to choose the right texture and not basically accept the ones that were used with the SketchUp model. And of course, now I can go on and make further additions. So first of all, I can check my mapping. So I can click here and maybe I can change a little bit the size of the map. So I'll try here 3x3 since this is a square image, so it won't distort my map. And now I think the mapping is correct. So the size of the map appears to be okay. And I can return to the materials settings. And now I could go on and work with the hive map and the reflections. And here I would like to give a few tips. So if we want to work in a faster way than we did in the last video, instead of choosing another image to work as a bump map, we can use this option called Use Albedo. So if we click here, basically Enscape will try to understand the albedo map also as the bump map, so it will transform this image into a black and white representation, and it will make our life easier because we don't have to choose another map. And we can see here that it's already working. So we have now this depth simulation. If we decrease here the fade of the albedo map, we can see that now we have this irregularity. I will return to the original value. So it's working fine here, and actually I don't need a very intense bump. So maybe I can even decrease the value here to 2 and it will be a bit softer. And here in the reflections, we could do the same procedure. So if we click here in Use Albedo, Enscape will try to use the texture map now as a reflection map. And this can be very interesting in certain situations where we would like to represent more natural surfaces. So for example, if I increase the metallic value here, we would have a very interesting variation of reflection according to the texture. But since I don't want a very rough result, I actually would like to simulate a more polished surface. I'm gonna decrease the metallic value. And I won't use the albedo map. I'll basically delete it here. And I will control my reflections basically by the roughness. So I can decrease this value so I get more reflections with not so many variations, since I would like a more polished finish for this surface. So maybe somewhere around here for the roughness value, it's okay. And we start to get more reflection here for this floor. And I guess that I'm quite happy with the result until now. And now I would like to adjust another material of the scene using a similar procedure. So I'll try out with the couch. I'll take a look here in our SketchUp model, and I'll select this material here with my paint bucket and Alt key. And here in our Enscape window, we can see that our material is very white, and also it doesn't have any depth. simulation, so the surface is very regular. So I'll try to enhance a little bit this material in a fast way. So first of all, I'll try to make this material a little bit darker, and we can do this by changing the tint color. So if you can recall, here in the tint color, we can choose a color that can overlay the texture. So we have here a fabric texture with this gray hue, and if we choose any other color, it will basically add this color to this texture. In my case here, I would actually like to choose maybe a darker gray color, something like this, or even darker. I guess this one here is fine. So this color here is overlaying the original color of the texture. And another procedure here that I would like to do is to add more bump. And in this case, we can use the use albedo option, just like we did before, so that we can solve this problem very quickly. So I'll click here, and basically we can already see that now we have a little bit more of bump. And we can exaggerate this effect if we move the slider to the right. And now if we take a look at our texture, we can see that the bump is very strong. I guess I can even decrease it a little bit, maybe 7. I think it's a good value to go with. And now we have our material with this darker gray color and also with a little bit of bump. We could also change the roughness, so this fabric could be a little bit reflective, but I guess that this material is actually not so reflective, so maybe a higher value of roughness, somewhere around 80 or 70 is a good value to go. And now I'm quite happy with my result. So in this video, we've learned how to make very fast adjustments to the existing materials in the scene, and we've changed the floor and the couch material.